Hello, everyone, and welcome into B&T Sports Talk Show. We are your host. I am T, and next to me is my boy B, and we are here to cover all of the happenings, especially in the first round of the NBA playoffs. A lot of duds, one good game. We're gonna get into it. Oh man! Don't let me forget now. If this is your first time listening to us, or you like what you're hearing, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We appreciate it. We also appreciate it if you like the video and hit that notifications bell. B, how you doing, man?
I'm good, man. Dude, this weather has been amazing, man. I can't tell you how awesome it's been. And real quick, shout out, we got a new subscriber, Aliana, subscribe to the channel. Welcome to B&T Sports Talk, Aliana here.
Welcome.
And then can we give a shout out to my sister? 36-year-old tomorrow. She's turned 36.
We gonna throw our age all on the internet? Damn.
Oh, 100% we are, man. 100%. I'm her brother. I'm supposed to. Happy birthday, sis. Can't wait to go to the Giants game with you tomorrow here, dude. We are going to be sitting in some baller-ass seats once again, watching the Giants hopefully win a game while we're there. We're 0 for 1 so far, so, I mean, something's got to give.
Happy birthday, Rachel. Let it be known that your 36th birthday marks the end of the run of the Warriors dynasty. Happy birthday.
Oh, I can't wait to talk about that. I can't wait.
Oh, man. So without further ado, we're going to jump right in. I talked about it earlier. It's obviously NBA playoff time. So let's get into it. We set our picks up, when was that? Friday. In regards to some of these games, and I'm looking all right. But my boy B here, he might need to go and, I don't know, reassess his picks, maybe.
I might need to go to therapy for the way I've been picking these matchups lately.
But there is one pick I got completely wrong, and I'm starting to feel real bad about it, I got to tell you. And that's my team, the Los Angeles Lakers, took on the Denver Nuggets. And just like the script would have played out in the last 7 to 8 games they played this team, the same exact thing happened again. Lakers came out to a big, playing well in the first quarter. They got out to about a 12-point lead with about 3 or 4 minutes left in the second quarter. And then they proceeded to get that walking energy back and gave the entire lead back in about 3 minutes. From there, it went back and forth a little bit. And every single game they played the Denver Nuggets are so good about executing in the fourth quarter that pretty much at that point they're going to run away with it. And that's exactly what happened. The Nuggets were too much, not necessarily defensively, I think, but too much execution on the offensive end for the Lakers to keep up. The Lakers stopped scoring the basketball for like about 5 minutes, and that was that. It was over. Your boy D'Lo was like 0 for 9 from 3. LeBron had an okay game.
He was 1 for 9. He was 1 for 9.
1 for 9, excuse me. Yeah, whatever.
Won. He had more than Klay Thompson did.
Yeah,
he had more than Klay did.
I guess you're right. I'll give you that. But it was a very lackluster performance on the defensive end of the ball, especially in the second half. The Nuggets pretty much got a score every single possession, it seemed like, in the fourth quarter. The Lakers could do nothing to stop them from getting what they wanted, and that was a wrap. So, none of this is surprising to me, B. I mean, honestly, I want my Lakers to win. I'm rooting for them, but this is a really, really tough matchup. They haven't beat this team in 9 tries, and the Nuggets understand what to do in order to get what they need playing against this Lakers team that really is not able to make the plays when they need to. And I think that's what strikes me most about these games is there's such a small margin for error for the Lakers to even win one game. And so it takes like 2 or 3 mistakes and the game's over. LeBron came out and turned the ball over at one point, then that turned into a 3. And from there, the Nuggets just tied the game at the end of the second quarter. And from there, I kind of felt like, yeah, it might be over. They're just not executing properly. And I don't know. It was a long shot. I'll just put it like that. It was a long shot.
I mean, you got to give Anthony Davis a lot of credit for having a really good game. It's all about what he does in game 2 because he did this last year. Had a really good game one in the Western Conference Finals, and then just disappeared in game two here. But what I don't get is how Darvin Ham didn't try to find a resolution to the amount of times Rui Hachimura got switched on to Nikola Jokic
No,
here,
it,
because
no,
he
but
was just getting
it wasn't a
live.
switch.
Hey, dude,
He was actually guarding no Jokic. Like that was the matchup
why
they
is
wanted.
he? The Anthony Davis needs to be on him. Why is Rui guarding
I mean,
Nikola Jokic here?
I don't
It
know,
didn't
man.
make any sense here.
It didn't work
Now I
last
get it.
time.
It doesn't.
It didn't work last time because that's what they did in the Western Conference Finals last year. It didn't work, but they went back to it again. I don't like it either, to be honest with you. I'd rather they play two bigs.
It doesn't make sense.
I'd rather them play Jackson
Yeah.
Hayes and AD, and as long as Aaron Gordon's on the floor, it doesn't really matter because he plays like a big anyway. He's not going to shoot you out of the gym. And I don't look. There's a lot of stuff I could talk with about Ham, especially when he pulled AD at one point and we went small with LeBron being the biggest player on our team. This is a freaking playoff game we're talking about here. And we're out there playing small against one of the biggest teams in the NBA. Michael Porter Jr. hadn't made a shot all first quarter. And I remember I'm sitting there, I'm watching the game with my brother. I'm like, dude, they need to make sure that he doesn't shoot. Very first thing they do, sagging off him, 3. Forgot him. 2 guys ran from him, 3. Then here comes KCP. Because the moment the Nuggets start getting those open looks from 3, they snowball. They're a lot like the Warriors are. Now all of a sudden no one can miss.
Yep.
And that's how the game went, man. Gabe Vincent, here's another, you talked about coaching. Gabe Vincent played so well against Jamal Murray, but did not even play most of the third quarter, or excuse me, most of the fourth quarter. Came in at the bitter end of the fourth quarter when the game was pretty much out of reach. I thought he should have been playing a ton of minutes. They got Spencer Dinwiddie out there who didn't score any points and really wasn't a key contributor. I don't know what Darvin Ham is. I don't know what he's doing. I've been cracking on him this whole time, and at this point, why don't they just fire him now? Because the bottom, no, seriously, the bottom line is if you don't win tomorrow, this series is over. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I don't know the truth. If you don't win tomorrow, the series is over. You might get one in LA, but guess what? You probably won't because you did this last year. It's the same thing, the same formula. So,
I'm not going to lie to you. This series was over when y'all won your 7-8 matchup. Minute
we talked about it
was winning that game.
We talked about it, right?
I'm just reminded.
If we got if we could have got OKC first, man, this would have been awesome. But we got the Denver Nuggets, so oh well.
Oh man, and on top of that, here when you look at the minutes, the starters, you had 3 starters go over 40 minutes: Russell, James, and Davis. After that, the rotation really wasn't that deep to begin with Darvin Ham. He kind of just ran all the starters right into it here. So
he tried to. At one point,
but you can't.
He didn't.
But
he
you
wasn't
can't really
consistent
do that.
Yeah.
No. But the worst part for the Lakers is you had 3 players not score a basket. Gabe Vincent, Dinwiddie, and Hayes, all zeros across the board here. Taurean Prince had 11, which isn't bad here. Now, I'm not saying that those points from those other 3 players would have been key, but they help. They help big time here. But dude, Austin Reeves just looked lost on the defensive end of the ball here. He was terrible.
But
on that
I'm not gonna beat him up too bad, and I'll tell you why. Because at the end of the day, it's all about what they're doing offensively. Okay, the one thing that drives me crazy is that whenever they finally got a 12-point lead, the first thing they started doing was walking. All of a sudden, we get the walking energy. Guys walking up the court, guys standing around waiting. It's like they spent the whole first part of the game building a 12-point lead, and then they spent 3 to 4 minutes giving it all away. And it's because this team doesn't have the capability of staying focused for that long. LeBron claims he's too old, so we can't expect him to do everything, except shoot a bunch of contested threes and ill-advised shots and turning the ball over. As great as LeBron played offensively, there were some turnovers in that game that left me scratching my head. There was one play where he just picks the ball up off the dribble on the 3-point at the top of the 3-point line and fires the thing out of ball to a Taurean Prince who is not even there. It was just all this weird stuff that you would think after playing a full season of basketball, these guys would understand. And the bottom line is they don't. They haven't. To the point to where, dude, we're up 12. You're looking at the box score right now. The only person off the bench that scored was Taurean Prince. Nobody else coming off the bench contributed. Austin Reeves had a couple of good looks. I can't kill. Austin only shot the ball 9 times. He went 5 of 9. I can't kill him. Rui Hachimura only shot the ball 4 times. Why are they not shooting the ball? What's happening? Like, and it's because they turn the ball over. They turn the ball over. You're resting on Anthony Davis, who shot the ball 23, 25 times, but you're not getting any. None of the other guys are getting involved. It's one thing for me to say.
There was no support. No support.
Well, I can't even say that, though. I can't even say. I'll tell you why. Because it's one thing to say these guys play bad, right? Rui Hachimura, you played bad. Reeves, you played bad. But Rui only shot the ball 4 times. That's it. He only shot the ball 4 times. Austin Reeves shot the ball 9 times. That's it. Apparently, D'Angelo Russell felt good about himself. He shot the ball 20 times. This is what I mean by coaching. Find a way to get Rui Hachimura, who has shot the ball 4 times, 5 more looks. He could have took 4 of those looks from Russell. Get Austin Reeves more looks. These guys shouldn't be playing 30-plus minutes and only shooting the ball 4 or 5 times. It doesn't make any sense to have it. It doesn't make sense at all.
I mean, they did rely heavy on AD, but AD, I mean, he was having a really good game, and he started going to the basket against Jokic here. But I'm sorry, man, this is just the matchup across the board between the Nuggets and Lakers. It's a bad matchup for every single Lakers player here. Yeah. You know, at any point, it's either going to be Michael Porter Jr. or KCP going off for the Nuggets here. It's guaranteed one of those two is going to get going. And the last thing you need is Michael Porter Jr. Really getting it going here from 3-point land. So let's get a little caught up in the chat. Freddie Zaliv says, ice hockey info, please, tomorrow. Freddie, what you need from the ice hockey playoffs, man? Whatever you need, I got you here. You need some picks. Who are you picking to win the Stanley Cup this year? The Stanley Cup is the greatest trophy in all of sports. Did you know that?
Yeah, I have a hard time because don't they pass it around? They
pass it around. It's got the names on the championship. That thing is ginormous. Yeah. I don't know. We could get into a debate on what we think is the best trophy championship.
It has historical reference. Yeah, that's great.
And then Larissa says, "Hey there, what's going on, Larissa? Hope you're enjoying the show here with us. Hope you're having a good weekend as well." T, let's start off with the next game here, which was an absolute I don't know. I can't wait for them to get bounced. And that's the Suns and the Timberwolves here. The big three is not going to do it for them. I mean, I watch the game, and all you see are 3 players taking the majority of the shots here for it. Anthony Edwards looked like a superstar. In this first game here.
We talked about
that boy was balling.
Curious to see if he would show up, and sure enough, he did. I think he had plus 30. He was over 30 points in this game. And like you said, the Suns were doing a lot of my turn, your turn. And unfortunately, it's just a bunch of jumpers, man. These guys are just shooting perimeter shots all game. And they just...
Oh, Jokic doesn't stand a chance down low because he's either got to deal with Rudy Gobert or he's got to deal with Karl Anthony Towns. And so it's an unfair matchup down there for him. And so that's what gives the Timberwolves such an advantage here. But just seeing the way Mike Conley was playing as well, that's where that point guard presence comes in here, because he was able to ride the ship. But then when Anthony Edwards took over, that's the superstar level that you want to see your player take. 32 points on KD. And KD had that assignment all day on him, and he was busting KD's ass. There was one possession where I think he almost ended up crossing over KD for a mid-range jumper there. And, I mean, he woofed a little bit, but rightfully so, man. He deserved to, dude. He had a hell of a game.
Yeah, man, it's just the bottom line. Like we've been saying, I mean, we've seen this big 3 thing before with the Nets, and it just doesn't work. And this team hasn't had enough time to play together most of the regular season. So there's no way in the intensity of a playoff game they're just going to all of a sudden find the magic. Like they literally have to outshoot their opponent. Like that's the only, they're going to have to, and I don't mean, of course, you have to score more points. But I mean, literally, they're gonna have to take more perimeter and make more perimeter shots every single game because again, they just don't have that continuity. And you mentioned it too, B, without having a point guard where they can find a way to get easy baskets. And if everything they're
Yeah.
doing is a contested one-on-one situation, no matter how good Kevin Durant is, he's not going to be able to. They're not going to be enough of those to go around for them to beat a team that's taking shots at the front of the rim. And on top of that, now you got to deal with Gobert rebounding the ball, Big Cat rebounding the ball. It's not a good matchup for the Suns either. They're not in the position to challenge the Timberwolves or challenge going to the NBA championship at this point.
Yeah, when you look at the box score here, their big three, obviously Durant with 31, but Bradley Beal only had 15, Devin Booker had 8. This is where the problem stands. Grayson Allen 4 points. Nurkic only had 9, and then when you look at the bench, outside of garbage time, there was nothing,
Yep.
absolutely nothing coming from the bench here, and that is going to be a very big problem for the Suns in this matchup here. And really balanced from the Wolves here. You had Edwards with 33, Cat with 19, and Gobert with 14. The only difference is the Suns' big three are just too large of a name where they can't be going for 14 points. You expect 14 from a guy like Rudy Gobert. You expect around 19 to 20 from a guy like Cat here. But when you talk about Bradley Beal and you talk about Devin Booker, they have to be in the high 20s every single
Dude.
game in order for the Suns to have a chance to win this series here. Based off of what we saw yesterday, that ain't happening.
Well, you make a great point, right? The fact that they don't have any bench points, they don't have any bench production. Well, that's what happens whenever you have a team that's top loaded like that. I mean, all of your money is being spent on your starters, right? So you've got all these guys you're paying, Bradley Beal, Kevin Durant and Devin Booker. There isn't a whole lot of money going around to find those really good role players. And so, yeah, man, I mean, this is what it's going to be. I mean, they just they haven't been together long enough. They don't have enough around these guys. And the bottom line is they're going to be playing against teams that have been playing together for a longer period of time and playing at a higher level as opposed to what they're doing currently. So maybe next year they'll be better. But this year, where at least 2 of them was injured most regular season games, no, I don't think this year they'll be able to make a deep run in the playoffs.
Yeah, man. And then let's get back into the chat. Larissa says, "Good evening. We are having a great evening."
Absolutely.
I'm watching this Pelicans Thunder game, and I'm watching my bet. Hopefully, don't go too far down the tubes because it's already 9-7. With 4 minutes into the game here. I know, right? I'll talk about that bet in a second.
Uh-oh.
And Freddie goes to Florida Panthers is my pick for this year. Freddie, if I'm rooting for a team because I'm a Sharks fan, and unfortunately the Sharks, kind of like they don't even exist anymore after being one of the top teams in the NHL for so long. I'm going with the Dallas Stars here. I like what the Dallas Stars are doing here, and plus they have one of my favorite Sharks of all time running on their team here. So, give a little hockey take. I'm going with the Dallas Stars here. I can't say that I'm going to be right, but Joe Pavelski used to be a San Jose Shark, and now he's playing with them. So, good luck to him in the playoffs this year. But T, kick us off with this. I think this was the best game of the weekend.
Yeah.
Quite honestly here, I think this turned out to be a good game between the Knicks and the 76ers here. It was the closest game that we had all weekend.
Yeah, it most certainly was. And that was the Philadelphia 76ers against the New York Knicks. I think the return of Embiid, of course, made this watch-worthy. And the Sixers at one point they were carrying a lead for a little while. So the Knicks had to battle back. I think Josh Hart had, I believe, was it 14 points in the fourth, and really hit some big threes to solidify them and bring them back. Not a very impressive offensive performance by the Knicks, but this was one of those dogged games where guys were competing at a very, very high level, especially on the defensive end. And we talked about it before. The amount of hustle you get from DiVincenzo and Josh Hart, it cannot be replicated. The bottom line is The 76ers don't have much else outside of Embiid and Tyrese Maxey. That's really what it comes down to. Tobias Harris should be traded. I'm not sure why he wasn't traded this off. Maybe they didn't want to.
How is he still on this team
I
through all
don't
this
know,
time?
man.
You know
I
what
don't
I'm
know.
saying?
Yeah, Tobias Harris gave them nothing.
Howard.
7 points. Kyle Lowry had 18, and he's
18. That was impressive.
55,000 years old. Um, and the rest was all Tyrese Maxey with 33, Joel Embiid with 29, and that was where most of their points came from. They did not get a lot off the bench. Buddy Hield, who they picked up in a trade, had 0 points in 10 minutes. So just not a very good showing overall. The Knicks, they grinded this one out. I mean, when you look at the box score, it's not that impressive either. OG Anunoby, who they picked up, 11 points. Their centers, Herrenstein, they don't expect him to score much. DiVincenzo had 8. Bogdanovich had 13. Mitchell Robinson 8. But the young, Miles McBride with 22.
That was a big shot in the arm for them.
Josh Hart with 22. That's what won them the game. You had unexpected. Well, Josh Hart's been good all season, but he's not a guy who's averaging more than 20 a game. Most certainly not. But he has been having two guys one guy come off the bench and another one of your starters who is really responsible for a lot of defensive assignments out there knocking down 22 points for you. That's what the playoffs are about, right? It's about where do you get that next boost? Where do you get the next guy to step up and make a play to help you win a playoff game? It's exactly what we haven't seen from any of these other games going forward, honestly. But yes, this was a good game. It was back and forward. I thought they did a great job of corralling Embiid in the paint whenever he got post catches. Although he still went off for 20. He went off, but he didn't necessarily destroy them. I guess 29 and 14. 29 is still a pretty good go. But man, I like the Knicks, man.
I think this series is going to be a lot more competitive than we think it's going to be, just by if you can get the 76ers to play like this day in and day out, and just get a little more from Tobias Harris, this has a very good chance of being a 7-game series easily here. But McBride, you always have an unsung hero who's going to step up in the playoffs for you, and McBride was that for the Knicks yesterday here. So who is it going to be when they come to step up here the next time around? Who knows? But this was the most entertaining game of the weekend here. We got a few more in the chat here. Freddie coming back. Boston versus Vancouver tomorrow. Who do you think? Freddie, I'm looking at it. It looks like Boston and Vancouver are playing two different teams here. So are you looking for my pick for both of them? Or just let me know what you got on that one. And then Glenn, dude, I don't know what it is. Nope. And then Glenn B says you were correct with the last time with your Italian soccer matches, sir. Good picks. Yo, I got my Italian picks right. I got them right. I can't believe it. And then Mama Birdie in the chat. Hi, boys. Hope you had a good weekend enjoying the show here. Mama Birdie, good to have you in here as well with all seven of our watchers here. Thank you for tuning into the show and chiming in with us here. But Glenn, give me the next soccer matchup here. Let me see if I can go 2, or was it? I think I went 2-0 last week. Let me know if I could go another perfection this weekend. Dude, I gotta start betting on soccer.
I guess so.
I hit the soccer picks, bro. I don't even
know. Hey, man.
I took Chelsea. Who did I take? Oh, and then I took ACF Fiorentina. I only said it because I couldn't pronounce it, so I took them because it was a difficult name to pronounce. I got it there. So Glenn, you need some more? Come see me, man. Give me another set of games here to go with. But as we continue on this NBA playoff train, the real boring game was the Magic and Cavs. This isn't going to take long to talk about. The Magic are just too young in this playoff series for the Cavs, man. They're oversized. not enough experience coming from them. There was a nice little run from the Magic here, but I honestly, dude, I didn't see anything that's gonna warrant them to win one game
Yeah,
at all.
well, man, trying to sit through a game where neither team scores 100 points, that's going to be tough, man.
Donovan Mitchell looked good though.
No, he
Donovan
did look
Mitchell
good.
did look good
He had he had a
in
couple
that game there.
he had a couple
But
of threes or a three later in the game to kind of put it away, but I got to be
there's
honest,
not
I didn't watch a ton of that game, but they I figured the Cavs would get it done. They're playing at home. The Magic are a very young team, and so I don't think they're ready at all for their. They're not ready to make a deep run in the playoffs. I'll just put it like that.
yeah. So this, there's not much to really discuss with that game. I didn't take much away from that, but the fact that the Magic are just too young of a team. But this is good experience for them here, so be a little exciting to see.
Yeah. Well,
And then today,
oh man, this yeah. So you had this pick,
could we
right?
talk?
You had the
Yeah,
pick
yeah,
of the
let's talk
Heat
about it.
over the Celtics in an
Uh huh.
upset. Okay, now Jimmy Butler's out, so I'll give you that. But man, and the Heat did make a little run in the fourth quarter, although it was a little late in the game. But man, I mean, the Celtics came out and just blasted them from the very beginning. I mean, this game was over after the first or second quarter. It wasn't even close. Man, and Miami could not make shots. They missed a lot of threes, and I just thought they just like we talked about. They're just overmatched. This is a very talented team. You've got Porzingis, you got Brown, you got Tatum. The Heat don't have any real big name players. They got Jaime Jaquez Jr. out there trying to shoulder the load.
Dude,
Tyler,
I don't know
Tyler
what he was
Hero.
doing on the court, man.
Oh, he was he was
Couldn't hit
trying.
water if he fell. Tyler Hero couldn't hit water if he fell out of a boat today. Like, dude, his shots were terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible today, man. I was just like, just stop shooting the ball, man.
Eh,
You're 0 for 8 from three. He finally saw one go in, but that was the only one that went in. It was driving me nuts. I thought Klay Thompson was out there shooting the damn ball.
yeah, man. And I'm starting to feel. Look, the Heat got to get Jimmy Butler back in order to make this thing competitive. I don't know what what's going on with his injury and when he plans to return, but they got to get him back next game because at this point, if they get blown out like that again. I mean, I can't. You can never say never with the Heat, but man, it's going to be an uphill climb because I think the Celtics have lived through this a few times already, where they've lost to this team specifically, and so
Yeah.
I think they're really looking to make an impression, and they came out and did that today. They want to make sure people understand that they are the best team in the league, and which they should be. I mean, they're a great defensive team. You look up and down the roster on their talent. It's ridiculous. The fact that you have Derek White, who's a great six man. You've got Drew Holiday, one of the better defensive guards in the entire league. You got size with Al Horford and your boy the unicorn Porzingis,
Kristaps Porzingis.
and then you got Jaylen Brown and Tatum. There's a ton of talent to go around on that team. Don't forget Pritchard, who comes off the bench and just starts running down the floor and shooting threes. I mean, there's guys.
What about
Who's the
what
other
about
guy?
Horchata out there?
More,
He starts with an H.
Who?
Well, I called him Horchata, but he wears number 30, and he went off.
Yes, he did go
run
off.
today,
Yeah,
man.
I didn't know who he
What
was.
the hell is going
I
on
don't even
here?
know who is this. Who are these
He hit
people?
his first three threes. I gotta see who it is, man. Bam Adebayo is just, dude. He's lost
he's
out
doing
there.
the best he
He has
can.
no support.
He's doing the
I
best.
know he is.
I mean, outside
who
of
is it?
who was the other? Caleb
Hauser.
Hauser.
Hauser's the guy.
How the heck did you get a
Hauser.
horse shot? You went from Spanish to German, like German. What happened there?
I don't know. I gotta. I try to figure it out here.
Oh,
Real quick, we gonna get caught up in the chat, man. There's a lot of Italian soccer here. I must have drawn the Italian soccer people out here.
dude, hey.
So Glenn B goes, he wants his pick between Sevilla versus dude, y'all again. I'm apologizing if I butchered this stuff. Mallorca. I'm gonna tell you this. I'm taking Sevilla to win. They've beaten, I think, this team the last 4 matches that I can see here. With the most recent, or actually the last time, the last 2 have been draws, I think. I'm taking Sevilla in this one. Absolutely. Taking this Sevilla in this one. I'm throwing it out there. And then Glenn, I'll get caught up with the rest of your picks here with Rome and Bologna. I'm taking AC Milan. I like the name. Give me that. Give me Roma because I like a good Roma salad here. So let's go with Roma. And then let's see here. The Battle of the Peas here that I can't pronounce. Petrolu.
Patrol.
Shit.
Ploisti.
Petrolol.
Ploisti.
Polisti. Let's go with that one.
Polisti.
Yep.
These names.
I'm going with that one there.
These names are making me hungry.
All right, Glenn. So here it is: Sevilla.
All right, here we go.
Roma. AC Milan. Petrolu. Basically, every team that you put down there first is who you should take. And they're all winning here. That's who I'm taking here.
All right.
And then Edward says, "Salute from Paris."
Whoa.
What's going on, Edward? Dude,
Paris.
we're just international now all of a sudden.
What's up?
Yeah, man.
What's going on?
And then Chuck, 1974, Sevilla is hard at home. I think I'm gonna hit this one. With Sevilla.
And Mama Lay trying to get a free trip to Paris. Hey,
apparently. And then Third Lake Slayer, take some soccer picks for tomorrow, guys. I need them also. Hey, Third Lake Slayer, you tell me what you need, man. I'll give them to you. He goes, y'all in here betting on Italian soccer. I don't know where to watch Italian soccer.
Drunk. I feel drunk
I've
right
seen
now.
it on some
I have
channels.
no idea. I don't know. I don't know.
Hey, man, but I was 2-0 on my picks last week, so I can't complain. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, keep it
That's
coming,
what it is.
man.
It's like you just gotta feel it. Just gotta feel it. You know what I'm saying?
I guess so. I was feeling the heat, and now the Heat are going to make me look really bad if they play like the way they did today.
Well, yeah, that's exactly what happened.
So yeah, let's see here. Third Lake Slayer, give me some games you think of here. You know, y'all need some soccer picks. Throw a game out there. I got you. You know, I do a little research first before I throw those picks out there. So it's not just blindly that it goes in there, except for the last 3 that I did. But let's get into the who is it? The Mavs and the Clippers.
Yeah, the Mavs Clips.
Yeah, the Mavs suck. They suck. That was terrible.
So the Flippers the Flippers come out there.
The Flippers
they don't even have Kawhi Leonard with them. They go out and here they are playing against a Mavs team that was playing pretty good at the end of the season. Well, I guess what we forgot is the Mavs play 0 defense and the Clippers do. And man, it really looked like it. I mean, James Harden had the best playoff game he's ever had in his entire life. I think he had like 28 points, man. He was out there balling. Paul George balling out of control. They smashed the Mavs, man. I was expecting Luka to show up big, but there was nothing about that game that even remotely made me feel like the Mavericks knew they were playing a playoff game. Did they know they were playing a playoff game, or did they think this was another regular season game? Like I generally am questioning that. Now, I can't fault Kyrie and Luka both went for 30 plus, but everybody else, they might as well have put Jason Kidd out there. I mean, they could have put him in the corner. He might have knocked down at least 1 3. After them, the next person was PJ Washington with 11 points. Derek Jones Jr., 0 points. Derek Lively, 3. Dante Exum, 3 points. And Tim Hardaway Jr., only 6 points. That pretty much was a 2-man show right there. They need some help. I don't know what that's about.
And you know what's the funny thing? Plumlee and Zubac were having their way down low. Like, the Mavericks just don't have an answer for that, you know, let alone Paul George getting going. And did you hear the excuse about Kawhi Leonard today?
He farted
about
really hard? What happened?
I think so. I think he might have just, sharded a little bit and he just didn't feel like playing. All of a sudden, this guy plays all year, and then the playoffs come around and goes, I can't play. Like, what the hell is going on here? Like, you played the most games you have ever played, and he was like, you know what, I'm good, I'm tired. And then he gave his laugh.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
But, I mean, look, if the Mavs put up 29 points in a half of basketball, call it. I don't see that team doing that, but man, they're gonna have to find a way to stop the big man down low, because the Clips started the game by feeding Zubac and then worked the in and out, and then Paul George got going, and the rest was history for them. So
Yeah, man. Yeah, it was not
hey
it
man,
was not interesting at all. I was hoping for more from the 4-5 matchup.
let me
The chat's
I
going
gotta get
crazy. We gotta.
I got to get my soccer picks in, man. I got more coming in here.
All right.
Drunk
Well,
says, "Let me stop acting like I never bet on Russian hockey with no InfoWars stream available."
yeah, what's up, Black Vanguard? That's my brother. Shout out. Shake my head.
Yeah.
And then Drunk with Jason Kidd is guaranteed fired. I don't know. The series ain't over yet. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I mean, the Clippers have been known to do some strange things, so you never know. And then
Maravis says, "I love soccer more than the NBA." Hey man, I'm getting my soccer tune in soon, because the United States will be hosting the World Cup in a couple of years. So I know we've been talking the Italian league, but it's something, because I probably would have never talked soccer before. So y'all have gotten me invested in this here. And then Edward wants to know where we're from. We're from California, Northern Bay Area.
United States. Man.
Yep. I'm about 20 minutes south of San Francisco. T is about 3,000 miles north of San Francisco, and in the state capital of Sacramento.
Yep. So.
And then the game that just ended here, the Pacers and the Bucks here. This is just plain and simple. The Pacers are they're inexperienced show. They were hitting everything but the rim in the first quarter when it came to shooting the ball here. So it's not going to be as close as we think it's going to be. These teams are going to give. I see the Pacers and the Magic just maybe getting to 5, but I wouldn't be shocked if it was a 4-game sweep at this point.
Yeah, man. I mean, this game is what I thought it would be. You're playing the Bucks at home, although Giannis is not playing. The simple fact is, and we talked about this before, is Pacers don't play defense, man. They play no defense, and so Dame got it going. Obviously, the Bucks are a team that have been together outside of Dame Lillard. Those players have been playing together for a little bit, so I don't suspect that the Pacers, who played zero defense, are going to come in there as young as they are and run them out of the building. Now, they've beaten them during the regular season. Don't get me wrong, but there's a little bit of added pressure. There's a little bit of added nuance and focus that you have to have whenever you're playing in the playoffs, and this is the Pacers' first time out. So, again, like you said, they lack the experience versus you got a Dame Lillard who is looking at the tail end of his career and has to make something happen over these next 3 to 4 years.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does. And dropped 35. He had as many points as the Pacers did in the first half. That was vintage Damian Lillard, man. That was dope to see. And then, dude, more soccer, man. I
don't know.
I must be the soccer guru here. Roberto, Bologna. Is Bologna going to win tomorrow? Absolutely. I'm going Bologna because I haven't eaten yet. It rhymes with bologna. So give me Bologna.
You picked Roma. There. What are you talking? I thought you picked Roma.
Did I pick Roma?
Yeah, Roma's playing Bologna.
Oh, I did.
You picked Roma. Glenn B. Glenn B.
Sorry,
he
man.
Apologizes.
Thank you. I apologize about that there. Let's see here. Black Vanguard, that's the math. Sounds about right. Marvis, Inter Miami with Messi. Yes. Ever since the arrival of Messi, I would say the MLS soccer has gotten pretty popular. What would you think?
Yeah.
I think he's been pretty popular.
Yeah, out here, he's selling tickets. So you got that right. I mean,
but I don't know when the San Jose Earthquakes are closer to us here. So if he comes out here, I probably wouldn't mind turning down the opportunity to see one of the greatest of all time to play soccer in the United States. And then Glenn B, you from the Bay, great Messi Marv for me, man. That is some great knowledge right there, Glenn B. Round of applause here. Dropped a Messi Marv comment here. He's a Bay Area rapper. For y'all don't listen to him, YouTube him. You won't be disappointed, man. That Bay Area music is something different.
Yeah.
Prove me wrong. Love that guy.
Messi.
All right. Yo, man, can we bury my basketball team now?
Yeah, well, we're gonna go ahead now, folks. So we're gonna pull out you pull out the script and speeches and say some kind words about an unfortunate happening that happened this past weekend. A very, very, very popular team has bit the dust. It's over, and it's time to say a few kind words and really discuss the future of what the Warriors, the Golden State Warriors, have to look forward to going into this offseason, because that was a dud if there ever were one. That game was not fun. It was not good.
Was terrible.
Sacramento is not that great of a team. I hope nobody got fooled by that, because they literally turned around and got beat by the Pelicans on Friday. And yeah, man, it really just looked like the beginning. Not the beginning, but it looks like the end. It looks like the end. So, B, this is your team. This is the best run the Golden State Warriors have ever had in their franchise history. Best run.
Yeah.
And here we are at a crossroads with this team where you still have a few good years in Stephen Curry. And you've got to find a way to maybe build a little bit something around that, because once he's gone, well, you go back to zero, man. And being a Lakers fan, I can tell you what that looks like, man. You know, the Brandon Ingram, LeVar Ball, what's his name? I forgot his name. LaMelo.
He's not even playing.
LaMelo.
So it doesn't even matter.
Not LaMelo. It was LeVar. Was it LeVar? No, not LeVar. That's his daddy.
No, it wasn't LeVar.
I'm forgetting their names. That's how bad it is.
One of the stupid Ball
Lonzo Ball. Thank you. Please. Lonzo Ball, that Brandon Ingram, Larry Nance Jr., Julius Randle, D'Angelo Russell. These are all the people we drafted. The Warriors are looking at that. They're looking at starting fresh after Steph Curry is gone. What the heck are they going to do, B? What is the game plan to try to get something around Steph Curry over the next 2, maybe 3 years to continue to compete?
I think you're going to see young players leave and be used as trade, because the Warriors really don't have anything to really go off of trade pick wise. So you have to part ways with players here. The Warriors are in that position where they go, are you looking to win titles to end this and then rebuild after, or do you rebuild now? The only way this rebuild really works is if you ask those big three to kind of take a lighter role. I just don't see it happening here. And the bigger question is going to surround Klay Thompson on what he wants to do. Klay Thompson is looking at a Drew Holiday contract. You know what Drew Holiday's never done? He's never missed a shot in the playoffs. He's at least scored a basket. Yeah. That performance against the Kings will not warrant $100 million. It just can't. And if you're going to invest $400 million in a 10th seed team, we're not winning championships. So you might as well rebuild off of that there. Yeah. Mike Dunleavy has the worst offseason to even think of here, because what do? The big question is who? Taj, I'm going to ask you this. If you looked at the Warriors roster right now, can you say any of those players are a solidified number 2 to Steph Curry?
Not at this point in their career, no. I mean, Klay was that for a long time, but now he's gone through 2 big injuries and has never really been the same. And now he's continuing to get older and older. And then you look at your young guys, and they're not on the same flight path as Steph Curry. It's going to take a long time for Kuminga and Moody to be in a situation where they are competing for championships and being trusted to compete in playoff games. So, yeah, I think for the Warriors, you got to take your Warrior hat off on and put on your pseudo Laker hat, because now you got to pretend that you have to win a championship every single year. And when you do that, you got to make trades. And that's what I think, that there's been a lot of loyalty to these players. Draymond Green, they gave the extension to. Klay Thompson, they want to keep him there. He wants to stay there. But at the end of the day, it's not going to be worth it. It's not going to be worth it to bring this group back and try to do this again next year. They were the bottom seed going into the play-in, with all that money on the payroll, like you said. I think Dunleavy did excellent job of drafting players. They had 2 guys, between what's the kid's name? The kid with all the hair, Podwitsky,
Podziemski.
Great player. I mean, he's out there competing, balling. This is his first season. He's a rookie. But that's not the flight pattern for Steph Curry. So I think you got to get really aggressive on the trade market, and they've got to go find a star to put next to Steph Curry to make any of this work.
I think, the big thing is, you have to, as a Warrior fan, you really have to look at is, you're gonna have to part ways with these young players here, and you have to do it. You may have to do it now because you got these guys in their prime. Jonathan Kuminga showed a lot of potential here, but he's at least a good basketball player. He ain't a great basketball player, and he's not a superstar either. Okay, Brandon Pajemski showed a lot of potential. Trace Jackson Davis may be the only guy they hold on to just for the fact that he's the center of that team there.
Yeah.
But no one on that team says I'm a number 2 player. No one there. And then here's the worst part: you have to find a way to get rid of Chris Paul's expiring contract, because if you don't, that's going to put you in a tighter spot on who you could bring into here to be that number 2 for Steph Curry. And are you going to ask all these veterans who have been in the league, guys who have won championships, hey man, I need you to take a discount so we can put a team together?
Yeah.
It worked in 2014 to 2018. It's not going to work now because these players don't have that mentality to sit there and say, look, let's get these championships. I'll take a discount here. Sean Livingston wasn't playing for a whole lot of money here. David West didn't take a whole lot of money. JaVale McGee didn't take a whole lot of money. All these guys who were great bench players stood back, took less money, knowing that they were at a very high potential of winning the championship. That's what you have to ask for from these young players here. Or, the Klay Thompson. If Klay Thompson can take less money and come off the bench, you may have an opportunity to bring in a number 2 without losing too many people. But if he's going to go out there and demand a high amount of money, let's be honest with you. After what teams had saw on Tuesday night, you're not getting that contract. All right? They saw more value of you coming off the bench than you were as a starter. Why is he starting in a game where he's been coming off the bench for almost the entire second half of the season?
It's that loyalty.
And now
thing,
we want to throw him in the starting role. It's like, yo, I get it. He's done some great things. Keep him off the bench. What was working was working. So why are we changing it in a must-win game?
Yeah.
When the team was getting on a roll with that lineup there, and all of a sudden they changed it. So it just blew my mind.
Not only that, but you're also extending Steve Kerr. You're also extending Steve Kerr as well. So it's just curious, what exactly are they think? What is the thought process? Like I said, like you talked about how difficult this offseason will be for Dunleavy. He's got to go in guns a-blazing. You can't get caught up on who's been here longer. You can't get caught up on who can do what. I don't care who it is at this point. As long as they're not named Steph Curry, if there's an opportunity to move players, you got to make that move because you've already extended the coach. You've got Steph Curry there for on contract for a few more years. You need to find a way to stay competitive, and being a ho-hum, okay regular season team that finishes 10th every year and plays in the play-in is not going to do it. It's not going to do it. Nope. And if you're trying to be the champion in this, especially in this conference, in the Western Conference, where you've got Oklahoma City, who's a young up-and-coming team, the Nuggets, who are the defending champions, you've got even the Suns, who will put all this talent together. They can't even. It doesn't even look like they're going to be able to beat up anybody in the top part of the West. So how did the Warriors think they're going to get it done? So yeah, man, they got to make some changes, and they got to be extremely aggressive about doing so. Just stop calling LeBron, okay? That's the one thing. Just don't call LeBron. Just leave.
The Warriors do have a second-round pick. Bronny James, it seems like he's going to fall in the second round. Hey, man, that's the last thing the NBA needs is LeBron James teaming up with the Golden State Warriors. Here, this is what we'll do. You all can have Klay Thompson.
Okay. Thanks.
We'll take LeBron James off your hand, all right?
LeBron for Klay? What kind of dumb trade is that?
We'll give you. How about this? We'll also send you. We'll see. You know what? We'll send you Kuminga. Go take Kuminga. You can have him there. So Klay Thompson, Kuminga, and we'll throw in like a second round draft pick for like 2 years from now, and we'll take LeBron James off your hands so he can fulfill his role to play with Steph Curry.
Absolutely not. We want a top guard. Obviously, we want a top guard that can score buckets. Y'all are gonna have to find. Y'all go find a third team. Go find a third team that has a star, and then we'll make the trade. How about that? Because as much as I enjoy having LeBron on our team, I got to be honest with you. Him by himself and the way it's set up right now, it ain't working. And the Lakers are going to make a trade this offseason regardless. let's just put it that way. D'Lo's gonna get traded somewhere, somehow, somewhere, and they're gonna try to find a way to bring in another superstar or star player beside AD and LeBron. That's ultimately what it's gonna come down to. Now they got more games in this series, but I gotta unless they come out, show out, and win game 2. It's gonna be a long flight back to California. You know what I mean? Because if they're not already in California and they get swept, that is. So
man, I thought we were talking about the Warriors here.
Yeah, my bad. Well,
I thought we was talking about the Warriors here.
Bottom line is, y'all are dead in the water. Trade your young players. Go find some.
100%.
Go find some.
100%. Yeah. But I'm gonna tell you this for all my Warrior fans that are out there, and I posted this. For all you OGs out there, we really appreciate what we got to see for 10, 13 years here.
Oh yeah.
From when Mark Jackson took over this team to now where they're at now, none of us would have ever thought that this would be happening here. T and I were talking about this earlier. Does any of my Warrior fans know who Troy Murphy is?
Andres Biedrins.
I'm just going to put it out there. Andres Biedrins. Nick Van Exel played for this team. Adonal Foyle. We got Derek Fisher when he was spiraling out of his career.
I remember that.
He hated playing with us so badly. He went over to Utah the next year, and then proceeded to beat the Warriors in the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? Dude, we have had Larry Hughes.
Oh,
let me put it to you like that.
Philadelphia 76er, Larry Hughes. Wow.
Exactly.
That's
here.
Bad, man.
The amount of bad talent that we saw come through here, if the Warriors started fresh, honestly, I wouldn't be. It's not like it would bug me because we've seen this story before. Yeah. But every team goes through it here. Yeah. It is very hard to keep a dynasty going. At some point, that dynasty will crumble, and then you have to figure out how to build it. So the Warriors' challenge is, how do you build the dynasty again with holding on to these players? Unfortunately, you got to let them go. You have to start getting younger at some point. But for me personally, I would much rather hold on to these 3, let them get their flowers. Let's go out in style here. All right? Enjoy it. If we don't make the playoffs, we don't make them here. But when you look at the accomplishments from what this team has done over the last 13 years, I wouldn't be mad about it. It'd be a great send-off to see these guys all walk off the court for one last time. But take a look at what San Antonio did. They got rid of Tony Parker. Yeah. Tim Duncan retired. Yeah. Kawhi Leonard walked. These are all teams that had at some point had to let the fan base favorites leave because they had to find a way to compete.
Yep.
But unfortunately, San Antonio's still recovering from that. They're still recovering from that. But it got them Wembanyama.
Yeah, but they made the right plays. They got first round draft picks.
Exactly.
For as compensation for a lot of those players. And so that's why that's what they went straight into rebuild mode, and they got as much draft capital as possible. They took a play out of the OKC book. Oklahoma City did it better than any other team. They got all the draft picks you can imagine. They drafted good players that could actually play. Now they're a young team that can compete for the next 5 years, playing in the playoffs every single year and competing at a high level because all of their players are young.
Yep. So that's what the Warriors are going to be stuck with.
Yeah.
Do you part ways and let these guys come back home to receive their flowers, or do you ride out the next 2 years and say, thanks guys for everything? That's what it comes down to here. This is a 2-year, and there's 2 years left. It's either get rid of it now or enjoy the next 2 years with this core, because Kerr may not come back after 2 years.
I don't know why he would.
I guarantee you Draymond retires after 2 years. Phil Jackson left the Bulls after that last championship because none of this was happening again.
Right.
So all of this, what I'm trying to tell y'all is all of this comes to an end, and it's just the way it goes here. So it's either we see these young players leave, or we hold on to everyone, let the bad basketball happen, and then let the rebuild happen. But you got to find a way to get some first round draft picks if that's the case. Like, you've got to try to find a way to get some. So tank. I'm joking.
I mean,
I'm joking.
They did that one year, but the first pick they got that. Remember they got that second pick, but it just didn't pan out.
And sometimes it works. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't. They took a shot on a guy with raw talent. Ask the 49ers how that worked out with raw talent. He's not on the team anymore.
Yeah.
Neither is James Wiseman. So it's very rare you find a bad draft pick. You found one, it didn't work out. But the Warriors are known for finding some pretty good talent as well. So I think if you go that route, it shouldn't be a problem. But I don't know, man. The dynasty's over after this year. You saw it sucked right out of that team.
Yeah.
It's just unfortunately, Sacramento is going to hang a banner saying we ended the
we
Warriors
beat the
dynasty.
Warriors.
We beat the Warriors. We still haven't won an NBA championship, but we beat the Warriors and ended the dynasty. Dude, that game was Sacramento's NBA Finals game because they proceeded to get their ass whooped.
Right, they just got beat by the Pelicans 3 days later. It didn't really do anything for them. Yeah, man, it was for sure that type of game where Steph Curry couldn't hit anything, Klay Thompson couldn't hit anything. The whole team was just in shambles. And so, yeah, I think you have all this build up to be in the playoffs, and then poof, it all disappears. And that's what happens when you're in the play-in tournament. And so, like you said, man, the Warriors are at the end. So they're at a crossroads. They got to figure out, how do we extend Curry's prime? Who do we put beside him? I think that's what they got. I think that's what they're going to do. I don't think you start trading. You're not going to rebuild with Steph Curry. So they got to let go of the sentimental nonsense and start trading guys and making moves.
And for y'all who don't think that Steph Curry is still in his prime, the man is still in his prime. All right, he may have had a little bit of a decline in the second half, but he was still doing Steph Curry-like things. So I would take that over what I saw from Klay Thompson, who had a great year. Yeah. But when we needed you the most, you were nowhere to be found. And that cannot happen in the playoffs here because Sacramento took Steph Curry away from that game. They said someone else beat us because they learned their lesson in Game 7, where it was Steph Curry went for 50. Steph Curry goes for 22, and the rest of the team is non-existent. And if you think Jonathan Kuminga was at number 2, he should have stepped up in that game, and he did not step up.
Yeah, so a lot to ask from him.
That's all I've got for it. So we get to enjoy these first year of the playoffs with in Cancun, watching all this young talent here. And when you watch the NBA playoffs now from what it was 10 years ago, the level of difference from what the game was is completely different, and that is in a 10-year span. So the game changed real quick on the entire league.
Yeah, and the Warriors are responsible for that. They're one of the reasons that you see people shooting 3-point fast break threes, and really just taking more threes overall. It's definitely changed. Before, the Warriors were doing something that other folks could not replicate and could not guard. Now everybody's doing the same thing. So yeah, it's definitely a different league. So be interesting to see what they do going forward. Let's change gears a little bit. We're gonna be talking about basketball, but we're gonna talk about Team USA going into the Summer Olympics here, and I guess what do they be called? The Avengers? Interesting.
I'm calling them the Avengers.
He's calling
this team is ridiculous, bro. Like,
let's see who we got.
You want here? I'll read this roster off to you. You're gonna love this. Let's start with Kevin Durant. All right, LeBron James, Bam Adebayo, Devin Booker, Steph Curry, Anthony Davis, Anthony Edwards, Kawhi Leonard, Drew Holiday, Tyrese Halliburton, Joel Embiid, who said no to playing for Team Africa and said I'm gonna play for Team USA.
Dang, that's rough.
And Jason Tatum.
Wow.
Yo, dude, you want to talk about look? Let's. You've heard that roster. Let me give you the roster of the dream team, that was configured here. Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, John Stockton, Karl Malone, Larry Bird, Patrick Ewing, Chris Mullin, Charles Barkley, David Robinson, Clyde Drexler.
Dang, man. That's good.
Dude, who if you put these two teams in their prime, who are you taking in a matchup like this?
That's tough. That's tough.
That's a
the only thing is, the 3-point shot that is more prevalent in today's basketball, and how does that work? But yeah, man, that'd be a hard game. That'd be a hard game to pick against, especially when you've got Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, LeBron James, and then you're gonna, I guess mix and match or put Embiid and Anthony Davis together on the floor. Like, I don't even know who you're playing at what positions. That'd be a crazy, crazy, crazy team. So yeah, man, it's tough to say. I do think the bigs on this roster pretty tough to beat. I mean, Joel Embiid and Kawhi Leonard. Anthony Davis are pretty big in comparison to.
Don't forget about Bam Adebayo, man.
Patrick Ewing. Patrick Ewing and Charles Barkley are not that big. These guys are legitimately 6'10" or 7 feet. So that might be a little tough.
You honestly think Charles Barkley is pushing Joel Embiid out of the paint? I don't think so.
No.
You got a big and Bam Adebayo who actually's got some pretty good handles,
good
for
touch.
A guy his size here.
Yeah.
You got Kevin Durant, who's king of the mid-range. You got LeBron, who can score on anyone at any time. And then you got to guard the three-point line with Steph Curry, Devin Booker, and Jason Tatum.
Yeah.
Like, dude, if the USA does not blow out every single team by about 9 million points per game, it's going to be a problem. Basically, this is a all-star of all-star teams here. So kudos to Grant Hill, because Grant Hill basically assembled this team.
Oh, okay.
He was in charge of that there. And Steve Kerr and his coaching staff are gonna have a hell of a way to try to find guys. Dude, you can take a five.
It's not gonna be that hard.
Any of these players here,
it's not
and just make a starting roster that is going to score at least 3,000 points per game.
Yeah, I mean, he's gonna spend most of his time on the sideline reading the newspaper. I'll just put it like that.
Exactly.
Yeah, not much else.
Exactly.
Awesome.
But hey, man, the Olympics can't come close enough. I hope Curry gets his gold medal. That's all he's missing.
Oh, I'm ready, man. I'm not just ready for. I'm ready for like the swimming and track and field. I think I love the Olympics. This could be great.
Then that stupid runner athlete can finally say that the basketball team won a world championship. Remember that spinner came out and said that. What world champions are you? It's like, dude, it's an international game.
First
regardless,
off, you're in the U.S. too, my friend. So show some support. Okay?
Dumbass.
Do we hear anybody else's country saying this stuff about it? Come on, just be quiet.
I know.
Be quiet.
Hey, I know we're getting towards the end of the show, but when you get a chance, dude, go. I didn't know there was a rap beef between Chris Brown and Quavo from the group Migos.
Yeah.
Did you hear the diss track that Chris Brown dropped?
He went pretty hard. I don't know with the.
Holy cow!
I mean, out of all the diss tracks that we've heard over the past month, because it's been a lot. I mean, for some reason,
that one was the best.
Everyone is airing their grievances. I was joking with my wife, and I was saying I should put out a diss track about the IRS at this point. I mean, we should all just air our grievances through rap. No matter what it is, whatever you're mad about that bothers you in your normal life, go ahead and write a rap song about it and just berate the crap out of whatever that problem is, man. Whatever it is.
Did you listen to the diss track by Eminem to Machine Gun Kelly?
Yeah, a while back. Yeah, that was a long time ago. Yeah, that was pretty bad.
So, who would you say torched them the worst? Chris Brown to Quavo or Eminem to Machine Gun Kelly?
Well, the Eminem thing was kind of like we knew it was coming, and I felt like Machine Gun Kelly knew he was going to get beat, right? It was just a ploy to maybe get some entertainment. So Eminem, he got him. But the Chris Brown thing seemed kind of personal, There was a lot of name dropping and talking of old girlfriend. And the line at the end or towards the end where he says, everybody wish it was you that got shot instead of the other dude. I was like, wow. That's tough.
Yeah.
That's tough, man. I mean, I didn't even know Chris Brown could rap.
Bad.
I mean, I didn't even know he could rap. He was so angry, he stopped singing. That's how mad he was. He didn't even sing this song. He rapped it.
You know what's funny? He mentioned that in the rap battle too. He goes, "You just let a singing, rap all over you." And I was like, "Oh God!" Like, not only is that diss track hard, the beat that goes with it is amazing. Honestly, Chris Brown, you better start doing some gangster ass rap because that was dope.
Yeah. Maybe this is it. That's what's gonna
He
happen.
killed it, man. I sat there and I was like, it came across my feed. I was like, what? I was like, what?
Who is this
And
now?
then when the lyrics dropped, I was like, oh, this is hard. And then when I looked up the just the timeline of the beef,
Yeah,
I was like, oh, there's a lot of personal
I guess
shots in there.
it go way back, man. But man,
It
he
goes.
was
He brought Saweetie into this. He brought old
everybody.
Migos into this. Like he brought everyone. And
He,
don't forget, y'all, P Diddy still got some things that he needs to air out as well. So
whoa,
just sit back and relax.
please! If P Diddy drop a song, it's over for everybody.
Oh my god,
Man, I couldn't
man.
even imagine what his diss track sound like. It'd be pretty bad. It would be
It would be.
pretty bad.
It'd
Oh
just be
man.
a list of names. It'd just be a list of names that he'd be throwing out there. You
Yeah,
know?
but it wouldn't just be a list. It would be list and actions, my friend. It would be list and actions, which would be pretty
Yeah,
bad for a lot of people. So let's hope that P
it
Diddy,
would be.
mind you, I just want to mention, we had the conspiracy theory, which I think will hold true because P Diddy's still out there. Nobody's arresting anybody. He's just chilling. And I really think
Yeah.
it was just to make sure that the most powerful people in the room got some tapes out of that hard drive. That was all that's
Can
all it
you
was about.
can you imagine we get the Chris Brown diss track this weekend, and then this week we get the list of names that was involved with P Diddy shenanigans? I
I
blow up.
mean,
We need to get on if that happens, just so
oh
we can have
man.
a pure entertainment of rappers that we're never gonna look at the same again when they're involved with P Diddy shenanigans.
Yeah, I think he already sent a warning shot, and I think folks have backed down. So I'd be surprised if we hear any more P Diddy news at this point. Honestly, I don't know. I don't know, man. It's like yeah, they raided his house, but then after that, what happened? Nothing. So are they gonna
Yeah,
actually arrest him or convict him, or you think Usher's gonna come out and testify against P Diddy and expose all that stuff? No, no, no,
no,
he's not gonna do that. If anything, he might be like, no, Diddy didn't do it because everybody's trying to protect themselves, man. I mean, I don't think people understand, man. You got all of these tapes of people doing some weird stuff, tapes and all this. That stuff that's damning, especially on the internet
it's
where nothing
nasty.
dies. Nothing
It's
dies on the
nasty.
internet. Something like that
Nope.
gets out, it's over, bro. You know what I
Ask Kim
mean?
Kardashian.
It's
Nothing dies on the
well, no,
internet.
she
She's
made
still
money off of
floating
hers.
around.
That's different. She
That's
actually
true too.
she actually got popular off
Yeah.
that. Yeah, that was a little different. I'm talking about it, dude. I'm talking about I'm talking about supposedly what's happening in the Diddy
Yeah.
party. It's a little different. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
that's true.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, man. So I think that's all we got, man. Thanks everybody for joining the chat. I know we had a lot of folks jump in. We'll have to.
Overseas too.
Yeah, we'll have to get caught
Can
up
we
on
just
the soccer
applaud
because
everyone
I mean,
overseas? Thank y'all.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how the algorithm works, but I don't know what I did. Because I'm the one setting up the hashtags and the title of the video. Don't ask me how you got here, but hey, we appreciate y'all.
We're glad
showing
you're
up.
here.
We appreciate.
We're
you showing
glad
up.
you're here.
All the way from Paris
Absolutely.
and wherever everywhere all over the world. We are worldwide, and now I got to start watching soccer games. Here we go. Here we go.
Let's do it, man. I don't mind staying up till 5 a.m. watching soccer. So hey, y'all tell us who we should focus on in the Italian league. Drop a comment in this chat. Send us a message. Drop an email. Our information is in our bio here on YouTube. Let us know here. If y'all are that engaged with it, we're gonna get engaged, and then all of us can have a conversation about the Italian soccer league. So I'll tell you this, since I've already bet on Chelsea and they've already covered for me, I'm taking Chelsea. That's the team that I'm gonna just become a bandwagon fan of. So
There you go.
T, yeah, I'm sure you'll find your team.
Yeah, I
Maybe
gotta
we can
find
talk
something.
a little soccer. We'll talk about this, guys. We promise. We appreciate all y'all from international, from Germany to Paris, here at home in the United States as well. We really appreciate y'all.
Absolutely. All right, y'all. Well, we are going to get on with the rest of our lovely evening, and until next week, till next Friday, join us for Pickup Dummies, and then of course we'll be back next Sunday, 6:30 Pacific time. Y'all have a wonderful evening.
Peace.